everybody, and welcome to Game A Dare. My name is Step, and we are going to play a game today, a new game. After the sorrowful ending to yesterday's Kingdom Adventures, but we've got something brand new to me, and ready for all of you to enjoy, hopefully. A Pinch of Magic is a dating sim. We haven't done one of these yet in my current reboot. Not that I've rebooted anything yet. Man, I've got to work on branding. I hate that, from what I've heard from people who I've talked to in the queer community, gray is apparently out, and the fact that there's a trilby anywhere in my branding makes me unapproachable, which I will never forgive those unmentionables for. Anyway, we used to do sexy Saturdays or sexy Sundays or spring Sakura somethings. Anyway, it's Sunday and we're starting a new game, so I figured we'd try a dating sim. A Pinch of Magic. Save your grandparents' failing cafe/magic shop from bankruptcy and possibly fall in love. It's got very positive reviews, and I'm excited. So yeah, let's go and play that. All right, here we are. I guess we just start. What is your name? Oh. I'm not sure whether this is a male or female protagonist. Let's just go with Step. That would work either way. You mean I can choose? I should set up Facecam for this. Alright, if we go more than one episode, I'll set up Facecam for this, because I really don't like they, them, for me personally. I mean, I'm fine with it, but I like going back and forth. Oh, those are both so cute. Go with they, them. I like any and all pronouns. I like E and M, by the by. But, we'll go with this, yeah. That's really cool. Alright. I let out a freeing yawn as I leaped down from the bus onto the pavement below, bags in hand. Finally made it. Drinking in the familiar surroundings, I take a moment to execute some quick squats. Really? I'm a muscle brain person? The brisk stretchercise is exactly what my compressed muscles ordered, all stiff from a several-hour-long bus ride from the city to the sea. Oh, okay, so we're stretching because we're on a bus. That makes sense. I wonder if this is how Jack-in-the-Boxes feel when they pop out. Newly energized, I extend my arms to the tropical sun as if to pluck it from the sky and take in a greedy lungful of delicious sea air. As always, the warm climate here on the coast feels as though it's welcoming me back home, back to the place where I belong. Sometimes you wanna go. I've missed this, all of this, and ahead of me is a summer-long period of peace and respite. This dialogue's a little overproduced, I feel, or this monologue, narrative. I just graduated from high school, and from now on, there'll be no parents, teachers, or peers reminding me of every breath that I'm waiting to the end of my teenage years with no direction, just the sun, the sea, and this place. Yeah. I feel like if they want you to have direction, they should give you a little more direction, you know? My destination, the tranquil seaside town of Linsdale. Nestled in a quiet crescent-shaped cove on the coast and licked by the starry, deep blue waves of the Eastern Sea, some people have taken to affectionately nicknaming it Moon Bay. A pretty occultic name, all things considered. But it always seemed perfectly apt, because it's also the town my grandmother, my Baba, calls home, and she just so happens to be a witch. An exceptional and absolutely eccentric witch. What do you know? In something called a pinch of magic. I called it. Just like cold called that was gonna be grandmother's a witch. Ooh, I'm so talented at this guessing game. All these years later, and I still wouldn't put it past her to have coined Moon Bay herself, just because it might help drum up some business among the magic folk. There are magic folk? For the first time in 3 years, she'd asked me to visit this summer, and I can't wait to resume my magic training. My fingers, electrified, are already tingling at the prospect. It sounds like you've got direction, just not direction that other people approve of, and, you know, nuts to that. I reach into the pockets of my hoodie, feeling for the letter she'd sent, making sure it's still there. Cursive on vellum with a wax seal. Yep, nobody except that wily old woman would write like this anymore. Or, you know, any number of TikTokers. There's no time like the present. Unable to hide my eagerness to see her again, I hoist my bags up to my shoulders and take off at a sprint up the staircase, leaving the bus stop far behind. And once I leap across the threshold of the stairway's end, I see the sight I've longed for and open my lungs wide. Hello, coffee curiosities. I'm home. My grandmother's cafe stands before me, a static monument among the other buildings, utterly unchanged, like a moment in time, perfectly preserved the way I always remembered it. It reminds me of my childhood, of iced tea in summer, sea salt ice cream, and freer days spent under Baba's tutelage. That, in itself, is a rare kind of magic that leaves me spellbound. Naturally, my peppy cry draws the attention of several passers-by outside the store, many of whom recognize me and wave in greeting. Well, I'll be, if it isn't been a spell since you've been back. Still, keep that strange habit of greeting the cafe like it's a person I see. Well, she's not wrong. I guess I am a little old to be shouting in public. You're never too old to act like a corvid. Hold on, I gotta find... Uh-oh. Did I just screwed everything up. Did I? No, I'm good. Be like a crow. Collect shiny things, hop happily down the street for no apparent reason. Whatever you eat, eat it with joy, and scream loudly when you see your friends. But, as Baba used to say, a witch breathes magic and life into all things. Every word is a charm, every sentence a spell. Now that I think of it, it's totally possible she was just hoodwinking an extremely gullible 5-year-old, but, well, it's a cute tradition, so who cares? I wave energetically back. Hey there, it's good to see you again. Do you know if my grandmother is about? That question seems to give her pause, and she forces a smile which can only be read as guilty embarrassment. Oh, you mean well, I'm not too sure. Haven't been in for a coffee for a while, you see. Anyway, nice seeing you, kid. Before I get the chance to respond, she scuttles off over the hill, leaving me stranded in confusion at the shop door. What in the Hemlock Castle was all that about? Glancing over the cafe again, my eyes narrow suspiciously and roam up and down the building. I finally notice one extremely telling clue. It's the height of the morning, and yet the curtains are shut tight. Fishier still is how quiet it is. Wait, don't tell me. I practically kick the door down in my provoked state, and once inside, all my suspicions are confirmed. Not only are the lights all switched off, they really should have gotten some different music for this. Not only are there no customers, not only has the door clearly been left unlocked with complete disregard to nasty drafts, thieves, or trespassers, but on top of that, Baba is nowhere to be found. Oh no! What happened to Baba? The lingering mingled fragrance of sweet teas and bitter coffees temporarily catches me off guard, filling my nose and mind with happy memories, but I quickly remember why I'm here. I stomp across the cafe floor in big strides, making a beeline for the door at the far end of the room, a door hidden behind a heavy satin curtain and bewitched to be invisible to all non-magic customers. Baba? Baba? I stop dead in my tracks in the secret room, piled floor to ceiling with magical objects. Is Baba's crystal ball table. A table radiating with memories of afternoons sitting in her lap, poring over dusty tomes, and having the wonders of magic whispered in my ear. And now, on that table, clearly awaiting my arrival, is a small paper ornament, an enchanted letter, folded into the shape of a miniature rabbit. Rabbit. When I enter the room, it turns up its ears and bounds up from its slumber, hopping to the table's edge to greet me. I would recognize this magic anywhere. Baba would while away hours folding these critters for me as I studied, until she had gifted me an entire animal kingdom out of paper. It never failed to put a smile on my face. Which can only mean she's buttering me up for some unsavory news. I skeptically scoop up the paper rabbit in my hand, and at the touch of my fingers upon its nose, it unravels itself. Sure enough, my grandmother has inked a note in cursive inside. My dearest Step, I have run away. Since I was the one who invited you to stay with me this summer, I'll venture that this will come as a shock to you. It wasn't part of my plans, but running the cafe was beginning to feel rather droll. Then I remembered it's mugwort season, and also that the witch folk are hosting a mushroom picking festival in the mountains. Much less droll, by far. I do not think this word means what you think it means. Do not come searching for me. Write to me, though, if you want to bring me to bring you back some mugwort. Otherwise, I shall bring you nothing. Gee, thanks. Take care of the place while I'm gone. P.S. I hope you have money. The pantry is empty. Nice. Okay. I knew it. That wayward old witch. Slumping onto the one of the table's squishy cushions. I throw my arms up in defeat. I absolutely should have expected this, flying through life by the seat of her pants, living by her every whim, dropping things when they no longer suit her. This entire situation reaches into the far recesses of my mind, conjuring up echoes of countless other past examples of how mercurial Baba could be. Closing up at noon to go skinny dipping in the ocean, hosting a luau party, then passing out after an hour of her own deadly magic punch, her crimes of capriciousness knew few bounds. Okay, knew few bounds. So one of the bounds being that she always wants to take care of the coffee tea shop, I assume. She may have taught me everything I know of magic, but early on I had to master brewing tea and coffee, not just potions, just to keep this place running smoothly. Then how has it been running since you've been away? It suddenly dawns on me exactly why that passerby had acted so suspiciously. Really, it only dawns on you now. I bet she cut and run days ago and told everyone in town not to breathe a word. Yep, sounds about right. No matter how you cut it, she's just running from her responsibilities again. I seriously have no clue how she managed to keep this place running all these years. My lips press themselves into a thin, stubborn line. Mugwort tea is my favorite, though. I guess it's time to go shopping. Oh good, I hope I have money. An hour or so later, I've made begrudging progress on the cafe's sorry state. With the door now locked and the curtains still tightly drawn, I make use of the privacy by enchanting Baba's dustpan and broom and setting them to work on the floor. Oh, okay, so because the curtains are drawn, we get to Magician's Apprentice this situation. They whiz about the room in a waltz, making quick work of any dust or grime in their path. After a brief inspection, all that remains in the fridge is a curdled bottle of milk. The pantry cupboard has also been harboring nothing but dust, but were saved earlier by a trip to the local supermarket. I just want to make sure that you can all hear me. So we're going to do a quick, actually, we're going to save. And then we're going to do a quick sound check. Alright, looks like I'm being paranoid for nothing. Rest in peace, poor wallet. Luckily, it also seems the cafe's more expensive wares are in plentiful stock. The exotic plethora of tea leaves and unground coffee beans have been safely stored in bags or dry containers. The siphons, mills, and other apparatus, too, are in good working order. Knowing Bava's devil-may-care attitude, the situation here could have been far worse. I should count my blessings she didn't let any rats inside those sacks. That moment, as if my words had personally offended her efforts, Baba's cat slinks into the room and up onto the counter to glare at me. There you are, Hannibal. A witch's familiar reduced to a rat catcher. How the mighty fall in the wrong hands. But since you don't have anything better to do, if you see any about, do be sure to let me know. When I reach across the counter to scratch beneath her neck, she forgets her grumpiness in a heartbeat and pads off into the bedroom for an afternoon nap. Afternoon? It looks like evening. With the dustpan and broom soon done with their work, I thank them for their service and quickly finish putting the cupboards in order. After a satisfying stretch, I pull back the curtains and survey the place triumphantly. Watch out, Linsdale. We're back in business. Standing there with hands on hips, it's a funny feeling that courses through my chest. A kind of liberation and pride that comes with with being free to wantonly spellcast for the first time in a painfully long while. I missed it even more than I thought I would. Not too rusty, though, thankfully. Now then, the last port of call is to flip that sign, and after that, I guess it's time to brew some criminally delicious coffee. Oh, I'm so glad that I have a cup of coffee with this. This is a blackberry bourbon coffee that I'm drinking, which you can't see, of course, but it's delicious. But as soon as I step outside, I pause. My senses are once more splashed by the salty air, the sun's warmth, and the far-off songs of a soaring flock of seagulls. And in my line of sight, the sea itself, a shimmering crystal blue expanse calling me back to its edge. Well, I've worked pretty hard, if I do say so myself. Just a little stretch of the legs beforehand couldn't hurt. And so, with slow, meandering strides, I cross the pavement and pace down the small stone staircase, heading for the beachfront. Oh, beautiful. I take my time, enjoying the afternoon breeze and the journey all the way to the boardwalk and beyond. When I reach the beach edge, I slide off my shoes and press on, free and barefoot in the sand. It softly envelops my feet as I walk, like a floor made of satin. The waves, too, are like rolls of crystalline, satin sheets being unraveled onto the shore, rolling over rocks, shells, and themselves, and gently slipping back to their source. As ever, Moon Bay, you're almost too perfect for words. I plop myself down in the sand, stretching out my legs and searching along the water's surface for something. I wonder if she's still out there. Ooh, a mysterious lady. But before I can continue that thought, the phone in my back pocket hums, and when I retrieve it, I see several texts incoming from my parents, who I probably should have mentioned that I had arrived. Their messages cascade simultaneously into the group chat, making it plainly obvious they're both sitting beside each other, typing with a joint agenda. Did you arrive safely? You forgot to text us. We were worried. How's Baba? Is she doing well? How's her back? And there it is. I sigh, typing back my regular response whenever they awkwardly attempt to bring her up. If you're that worried, you could always, try talking to her yourself, Dad. I'm sure she'd like to hear from you, from both of you. After a brief exchange, ending in I love yous all around, I fling my phone to the side and fall back onto the sandbed. I fling my phone into the ocean, so nary again shall it interrupt my bliss. The history between my parents and Baba was fractured, to say the least. In this world, where so few people are gifted with the ability to wield magic, we hide what we are for an easier life. Hundreds of years ago, those without the gift feared us, persecuted us, and worse. I know it's common to have, magic and superpowers and things be a stand-in for persecuted peoples, and has been since, the X-Men. comics, but I love things like Kiki's Delivery Service, where witches just sort of exist alongside regular people and are, favorably thought of, honored amongst the populace. We need more stories like that. The world was messy. The witch folk decided, almost unanimously, that it was better to fade into anonymity than cause trouble. Nowadays, as far as the rest of normal society is concerned, it's known that we exist out there somewhere, but rarely do you see a witch shouting it from the rooftops. Despite the good I know we do, there's no glory in it at all. So, as for my parents and Baba, well, Baba had always been an immensely talented witch. The first time I was sent here to stay with her for the summer, I was 3. She showed me a few simple spells, and even though I could barely speak, I guess I was a natural. I still remember her sweeping me up when I successfully levitated a paperclip. She was so giddy, it was impossible for her to contain herself. But my parents were different. They never taught me magic, never encouraged me to learn it. All they wished for me was an utterly normal life. They asked Baba to stop teaching me, and that was that. Or so they thought. When they found out I'd flown in the face of their disapproval and had secretly been studying hard under Baba every summer for 10 years. Oh boy. I remember that day. Dad's face went a shade of blue I didn't think was possible outside of being hexed. After that, their relationship became strained. They stopped talking. I became their mediator, their owl, ferrying messages back and forth. I stopped visiting Linsdale for a while to give them all time to cool off. A normal life, a boring life, devoid of magic. I feel empty just at thought of it, but honestly, I don't really have a first clue of what I want to do in the future. If only witch folk didn't have to hide who we are. As I raised myself back up and to hug my knees, I realized that I've been absent-mindedly dragging my finger through the sand all this time. I've drawn nothing remotely artistic, of course, just a bunch of badly drawn swirls that barely resemble shapes at all. These are almost as terrible as Kia's. A spark ignites a recollection in my mind. A spark which sends me flying back to before I'd been interrupted by my parents' messages. Back to thoughts of a friend from long ago. My eyes met the sea again, Kia's home, my childhood friend, who had been as much a part of my summers in Linsdale as my grandmother. She was an extraordinary person in her own right, a mermaid who befriended a witch. Ooh, a mermaid? Neat. Shy, and a little fumbling in the beginning, she barely grasped human language. Kia was about the only sound she could make. We'd communicate by drawing shapes in the sand, and though hers were terrible, I got pretty good at deciphering them. I could still clearly remember our first meeting, here on the shore. I was 5. Mom and Dad had just asked Baba to stop teaching me magic, and I was wailing into the ocean at the top of my lungs. It was only once my tears had dried up that I noticed a curious baby mermaid who'd snuck away from home to investigate the surface, was peering at me through the waves. As I reminisce, a smile spreads across my face. Kia, that's right. I wonder if she and her family even still swim in these waters. With renewed purpose, I leap up and dust myself off. I tread up and down the beach, scanning the waves for any sign of movement. but unsurprisingly, I don't find a trace of her anywhere. There isn't a fin in sight. Well, that'll teach me for being willfully optimistic. As if mermaids would ever venture this close to shore. They'd be found out in a heartbeat. Still, I haven't exhausted all the tricks up my sleeve just yet. Determined, I set off up and down the beach once again, this time with my eyes to the sand, scouring the golden floor for a very particular object. And finally, wedged between some barnacle rocks, I find exactly what I'm looking for. A prismatic conch, shimmering and weighty to the touch. There's a conch just lying on the sand. That's amazing. And more importantly, in the hands of a witch, it's a horn that, when blown, can sing a song only a mermaid could hear. It was an ancient spell Baba had taught me as a child, used by the old witches in times of strife to call mermaids to their aid. And together, Kia and I had repurposed it. Since the day we met, it had been my way of communicating to her, "I'm here, I want to see you." Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out if she's still out there, listening for me. As a precaution, I spin about, checking for onlookers, but this corner of the beach is deserted. So, reaching into the recesses of my mind for an ancient spell, I pluck out its melody, note by note, and whisper my request to the shell at my fingertips. Weight of the waves, my bottomless heart be an ocean of love built just for thee. And if thou art astray in faraway foam, the song of my sea will call you home. As the conch begins to gleam, I gather my breath and blow gently into its tip. Fwee. But no matter how many times I call, Kia doesn't appear. The waves simply keep rolling over the sand at my feet, slowly soaking in and causing me to sink. So she left in search of somewhere better after all. No Baba, no Kia. This truly was shaping up to be a pretty miserable summer, and the pang of pain I feel in my chest is sudden but not unexpected. 3 years ago, when I said goodbye and left Linsdale, I didn't know it would be the last time. I didn't get the chance to tell her. Somewhat sad, my shoulders droop a little. She always was so timid and unsure of herself. I wonder if she waited every summer for me to come back, and I never did. But never one to let sadness get the better of me for long. I clap my cheeks together. At the very least, I know that right now, what I can do is see her off with a smile. I'm sorry, Kia, but I hope wherever you are, you're swimming happily, and that your drawings don't suck anymore. After exhaling my feelings cathartically into the afternoon air, I turn heel and head back toward the stairs. It's time to open the cafe for the evening. But as my head swims with thoughts of coffee beans, recipes, and measurements, I forget to check for obstacles in my path, and before I know it, I collide with someone else. Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. The bumps had successfully knocked me down a stair or two, but as I shake off the pain, her eyes meet mine. Her golden irises, her amethyst hair, everything about her beauty is dazzling and temporarily catches me off guard. Phew, I'm grateful she seems unharmed. I run my fingers through my hair, somewhat embarrassed. Not at all. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention either. Are you alright? Yes, Her quiet voice keeps trailing off, but she continues to stare at me with great intensity, looking me up and down with wide eyes. That's right, the cafe. I don't have time to be wasting here. So I flash her a polite smile and, shooting back up the hill, excuse myself. Well, I'm sorry again. Have a nice evening. You know, I know it's only been like half an hour or so, but I think I'm gonna call it here. Yeah, let's save again. And we'll pick this up tomorrow. If you're enjoying this game, do let me know in the comments below and give this video a like. If you want to see more of this kind of thing, we'll be playing this one for, I don't know how long, either 4 or 5 sessions or until we get to one of the endings maybe. We'll see how far we decide to take it, but I will be back tomorrow, so feel free to join me then. Thanks, everybody.